The tension was electric from the very start, with CM Punk immediately going on the offensive, targeting Seth Rollins with a devastating go to sleep. There was no time for warming up, no sizing each other up. Punk came out like a man on a mission. He took Rollins down with a precise double-leg takedown, clearly indicating he wasn't here to play games or feel his opponent out. This match wasn't just about the ECW Championship anymore. It had evolved into a deeply personal conflict between Punk and John Morrison. That kind of personal vendetta only adds fuel to the fire and makes every move feel more volatile, more dangerous. Morrison attempted a single-leg takedown on Punk, only for Punk to counter with finesse. The chemistry and familiarity between these two were clear. Every time they shared the ring in ECW, it was an absolute war, and this night was no different. Both men were young, ambitious, lightning fast, and equally tenacious. They represented the raw, hungry energy of ECW's locker room. Morrison might have looked like a Hollywood star with his chiseled features and confident swagger, but he was as tough as nails in the ring. But even with that toughness, Punk gave him no breathing room, driving his boots into Morrison's face with incredible force, a move that could have cost Morrison a tooth or two. Morrison's look of shock might have been more about the dental bill than the pain. Still, it was clear Punk was willing to go to any lengths to rip the title away from Morrison's grasp. But Morrison was never one to stay down for long. He bounced back, taking advantage of Punk's aggressive momentum, and drove him spine first onto the ring apron. That kind of impact sends shockwaves through the body. It wasn't flashy, but it was brutally effective. Morrison's unorthodox style served him well. He mixed agility, raw power, and ruthless innovation to stay one step ahead. Morrison followed it up with a ground-and-pound style attack, raining fists and elbows down on Punk. He didn't just want to beat Punk, he wanted to embarrass him. His arrogant demeanor showed that he was already planning his afterparty in New York City, undoubtedly full of bright lights, champagne, and attention from adoring fans. Morrison's cockiness was both a weapon and a flaw. While he had proven himself as ECW champion repeatedly, his overconfidence left windows of opportunity, windows someone as skilled and determined as Punk could slip through. As Morrison twisted and contorted Punk's body in ways that threatened to hyperextend joints and tear ligaments, it was clear that the champ had done his homework. Punk's neck and arms took a beating, but he refused to go quietly. Even as Morrison mounted him and tried to twist his head clean off, Punk endured. The crowd was torn. They might have hated Morrison's arrogance, but they couldn't deny his talent. Still, every time he got a near fall, Punk found a way to kick out, clawing his way back into the match. The storytelling in the ring was flawless. At one point, Morrison tried to build momentum off a previous win on ECW where he sneakily tagged himself in and pinned an unsuspecting Punk. But tonight wasn't about mind games. It was about grit and survival. Punk, despite all the wear and tear, still had the champion in his sights. They exchanged quick reversals, each move building off the last in a beautifully chaotic rhythm. Punk's desire to be ECW champion burned brighter than ever. He had Morrison scouted, countering his attacks with a brilliant tip-up that led to a near fall. Morrison, to his credit, didn't hesitate. He leapt right back into action, denying Punk any real momentum. Still, Punk dug deep, using Morrison's own body as a ladder for an enziguri kick that scrambled the champ's brains. Moments later, Punk executed a textbook power slam and went for a cover, only to be denied yet again. Every time Punk landed a big move, Morrison's shoulder came up at the last second. The frustration was growing, but so was the tension. Punk, looking for a high-risk moonsault, nearly scored the pin. The champion was in trouble, and the crowd could feel it. Morrison was sweating, not just physically but metaphorically. He knew he was in danger of losing the title to a man who had all the momentum on his side. As Punk charged Morrison in the corner, the champ countered, but only for a moment. Punk took to the air and nearly decapitated Morrison with a flying kick while he was straddling the top rope. That kind of impact could knock any man unconscious. Punk smelled blood. He seized every opening, and when he finally climbed to the top rope again, it looked like he was going to end it. But Morrison clung to the ropes, reversed the attempt, and used the ropes to steal a victory with his feet illegally on the bottom rope. The referee never saw it. Punk was robbed of a title he fought tooth and nail to earn. But CM Punk's path to greatness didn't end there. When he faced JBL, the stakes were higher. JBL, a ruthless and cold businessman in the ring and out, had called Punk's title reign pathetic. But Punk had already defended his championship against giants like Batista and proved time and again that he belonged. JBL, however, wasn't impressed. He worked Punk's midsection like a surgeon, exploiting an earlier injury to control the pace and keep the champion grounded. JBL used every bit of his 300-pound frame to squeeze the air from Punk's lungs. He slowed the pace to a crawl, hammering the champion with elbows and fists. Each near fall didn't just drain Punk physically, it chipped away at his resolve. Punk, known for his martial arts training and straight-edge discipline, had to find a way to breathe through the pain and survive. Despite the abuse, Punk fought back, landing a knee to the jaw and a bulldog that shifted the momentum. He even attempted the GTS, only to be cut down by JBL's signature clothesline from hell. But Punk wasn't done. He absorbed a brutal series of elbows, each one heavier than the last. And still, he kicked out. The beating continued until, in a moment of desperation, Punk caught JBL with a vicious knee to the jaw. As JBL lay motionless, Punk summoned every ounce of strength, lifted him for the go to sleep, and connected perfectly. The referee counted to 3, and Punk retained his world championship, proving not just his toughness, but his right to sit at the top of the wrestling world. Then came Jeff Hardy, and everything went off the rails. A TLC match, with the world heavyweight title hanging 20 feet above the ring. These matches are always chaotic, but Hardy and Punk turned it into something legendary. Early on, Punk countered a swanton bomb by getting his knees up, damaging Hardy. Hardy, however, responded with an onslaught of his own, including a vicious chair shot that echoed through the arena. He then launched himself off a massive ladder in an absolutely unthinkable move, sacrificing his body just for a chance at victory. Both men were broken, bruised, and barely conscious. But neither would quit. Hardy, battered and limping, tried to climb the ladder, only to be intercepted by Punk, who sprang from the ropes and brought Hardy crashing down. With every step, the pain intensified. Hardy fought back again, knocking Punk into steel. But Punk wouldn't stay down. Hardy retrieved an enormous ladder, setting it up not just to reach the title, but to make one final, desperate statement. He dove from the top of the ladder with a swanton that nearly shattered both men. Hardy refused medical help and pulled himself up with nothing but sheer willpower. But Punk, sensing the end, climbed run.